The most reactive are the things that react first to things like mortgages, because it hits a potential home buyer that day. He says, oh gosh, look how much my monthly payments will go up if I have to take a mortgage. A floating rate mortgage, they're very hard. It's hard to get fixed rate mortgages these days. So they get hit first, but then it seeps through to everybody else. Bondholders start losing money and they start feeling some kind of pain. And eventually, all of us, eventually it's on the evening news. By the time it's the evening news, it's usually pretty much the end. But, no, we all suffer. You said interest rates are high. Well, they're higher than they were a year ago. But I want to hearken back to 21% Treasury bills, which have happened and can happen again. I just want to go over you keep talking about high interest rates. Adam, these interest rates in the United States in 2022, by historic standards, are not high. They're higher than they were a year ago. But look back at the history of America, the history of any country, but since we're Americans, these are not high interest rates in American history. So they have the scope and the historic precedent to go much, much higher, which I suspect they will, for the reasons that we've discussed. And that will have a dramatic effect on housing. We have had a huge amount of home building in the last decade or so. I don't have the numbers at hand, but I know everybody has been building houses. Some would call that a bubble, but even if it's not a bubble, it has certainly been a boom. And when that comes to an end, if your house goes down in price, it doesn't affect you too badly unless you have to sell or something. But then when your neighbors' houses start going down and your relatives' houses start going down, then you really feel the pressure, because if I have to sell or whatever wealth I thought I had, I don't have anymore. And then people everywhere start talking about it, because, one of the things that many people talk about are property prices, house prices. And if they start going down, it's going to be high on their list of things to talk about, much higher than the football game. If everybody's house price is going down, everybody's going to talk about it and moan and complain, which leads to more pessimism. There has been a bubble in Chinese property. And by the way, Beijing for a long time has talked about it and tried to do something about it unsuccessfully. Now, whether it's the market or Beijing or who, something is happening and that bubble is popping. And it's good. When all real estate bubbles pop, as you know, it goes on a long time and a lot of people suffer badly. 400 million Chinese, that's not a typo, 1 billion with a B, 400 million Chinese. It's a huge country. It's the size of the continental 48 states, so it's huge. Yes, and many of them grew up without property after, Beijing started changing its view towards capitalism. Huge numbers of people went into property and real estate.